Sorry here. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for your patience and welcome to the March 24th, 2026 meeting of the Upper Darby Township Zoning Hearing Board. Before we begin the meeting, please join me in standing and reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, before we begin, have a few brief announcements. Before tonight's meeting, the board met in executive session to discuss legal issues related to tonight's applications. There are no continuances this evening. We have a 5-item agenda, and we will generally go down the order as listed on the agendas, which are in the front corner of the room if anyone would like a copy. As for the meeting tonight, there are 2 separate ways that anyone in attendance can participate. If you are not an applicant or an attorney, you can either make public comment. Any member in attendance tonight can make public comment at the very end of our applications. I will make an announcement and you can come up to the microphone, introduce yourself, and say whatever you please, good, bad, or indifferent. If you feel alternatively that you have a more specialized interest in an application, you can request what's called party status. At the beginning of every application, I will ask if anyone would like to be a party. And if you feel like you have a more immediate interest in an application, whether that's because you live next door or for some other reason, you can request, and if the board grants that, you would basically act like an attorney. You can question witnesses, produce evidence, make argument to the board, and if you ultimately don't like the board's decision, you would have the right to appeal to the Court of Common Pleas. But like I said, you don't need to request party status to participate. You can make public comment at the end of every application if you see fit. If you are an applicant, we are a 3-member board. I am not a member of the Zoning Hearing Board. I am the attorney for the Zoning Hearing Board. The 3 members sitting to my left are the voting members of the board. And to get any relief that you're asking for this evening, you need at least 2 votes in your favor. With that said, we have tonight 5 items. We are going to go in order with one exception. We are going to discuss the application number 3-1 of 26 first. Is Mr. Nalla here? Seeing none. Prior to tonight's meeting, I believe there have been some communications with our zoning staff and Mr. Nalla, and it appears that Mr. Nalla has elected to abandon his application. But I just want to ask a few questions first. Demetra, if you could do me a favor, can we, Tom, can you do me a favor and swear in Ms. Monk?
Yes.
All right. So, Demetra, your office had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Nalla prior to tonight's hearing.
Yes, we did.
All right. And can you do me a favor and explain those communications and what Mr. Nalla represented?
Yes, he contacted us and shared that he no longer wanted to testify his case. We shared with him that he would need to send in a formal written request to withdraw his application, and he did not do so.
Right. And your office also emailed him in writing requesting that written communication. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Right. And he also has not picked up his posters or advertised for the application. Is that right?
Yes.
Right. So board members, on that basis, it would appear to me that Mr. Nalla has abandoned his application and no longer intends to proceed. With that being the case, it appears that his application is moot and the board does not need to take any official action. I will send Mr. Nalla a letter tomorrow confirming that. And if there's any future development or future resubmission, then we can address it at that time. Okay? All right. So with that, application number 3-1 of 26 will be deemed to be abandoned, and that will not move forward, which leaves 4 items. So we will begin with the first on the list, number 1-1 of 26. This is for Mental Health Partnerships, the applicant, for the property at 7200 Chestnut Street. A few housekeeping items. So we've got Exhibit ZHB1 will be the application package. ZHB2 will be the proof of posting, and ZHB3 will be the proof of publication. I also have here a letter dated February 19th, 2026 from Ms. Jamie June, requesting a continuance from the initial or the prior scheduled hearing of November 24th and providing a waiver of all MPC timelines to do so. That will be Exhibit ZHB 4. With that, good evening, Ms. June.
Good evening, Jamie John here on behalf of the applicant. Before I start, I have one witness tonight. I will hand out to the board my exhibits, and then I will ask the witness to come up.
And for the record, the applicant's counsel has passed up an exhibit packet with 4 separate exhibits, numbered A1 through A4. These will be accepted into evidence, obviously under the assumption that I believe counsel or the applicant will be explaining to the board what they're looking at here.
Yes, so Exhibit A1 is the lease agreement for the property that the applicant currently has with the owner. A2 is the owner authorization for the applicant to submit the zoning hearing board application. A3 are photographs of the zoning notice that have been posted. And then A4 is just an aerial of the neighborhood for your reference. So as I just stated, I have one witness. We are seeking a variance from Section 550-8.A, Table 3-1, to permit a portion of the existing building as a year-round shelter for individuals experiencing homelessness. As you will hear through the testimony, this is basically just an extension of the services that they currently provide. I will ask my first witness to come. My first and only witness.
And while your witness is getting sworn in, is there any member of the public who would like to request party status with respect to this application? All right, seeing none, please swear in your witness and present whatever testimony.
I do. You're welcome.
Can you please state your name and address for the board?
Sure, Bernetta Santival. I'm sorry, Bernetta Santival.
Could you spell that?
Last name Santif, F as in Frank, UL, Santival.
And can you please explain your position at Mental Health Partnerships?
I'm the division director. I oversee all of the recovery learning centers, actually in Delaware County, Montgomery County, as well as Philadelphia County.
And how long have you held that position?
3.5 years.
Can you briefly describe the organization, including your mission and the services provided?
Absolutely. We're an organization that provides support and advocacy to a population that needs a voice to be heard, those who are dealing with mental health challenges, substance use, or co-occurring disorders. And our mission is to walk alongside them, providing them support to learn how to be sustainable in life and along their journey of recovery, whatever that looks like, whether it's recovery from substance use, mental health challenges, or homelessness.
So what are some of the activities that actually occur in your building currently?
Daily, we serve anywhere from 30 to 40 individuals who are coming in to receive meals 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and plus snacks. We also provide basic needs services such as laundries and shower services. And we facilitate recovery wellness groups. And the groups are literacy, budgeting, housing, mental health recovery groups, any groups that's going to provide them hope and empower them to be resilient along this journey.
And you heard me say that we're seeking a variance to use a portion of the existing building as a year-round shelter for homeless individuals. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And what space within the building will be used if approved?
We will utilize our common area, which is called our community room, where they congregate throughout the day for their groups. We'll actually remove the tables and the chairs, and we already have cots, and we have bedding, sanitized bedding, disposable bedding for them to be able to utilize.
And they would also use the existing restroom, shower facilities, laundry, and kitchen area. Is that correct?
That is correct. All of the current services still will be, and facilities will be available.
And how many individuals would you be able to accommodate at one time?
We have a capacity of 50, so we're looking to shelter 30 individuals, and including the staffing that will be able to oversee the shelter, that's about 34. So we'll be under capacity.
So you're looking for about 30 individuals?
About 30 individuals, yes, to
Okay.
service 30 individuals.
And they will be men and women, no children, is that correct?
That is correct. We only serve adults 18 years or older and no families.
And you just stated that there will be 4 staff required to run the overnight shelter.
That is correct.
And what will be the hours of operation?
We will operate from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. the following morning. We also have the day the day program, which allows them or permit them to remain even after the shelter hours are ended. They can stay throughout the day. So literally it's around the clock operations, what we're looking for. They can actually remain from 7 a.m. in the morning, and if they're going to remain in the through the shelter, they're actually there all day. This provides them safe space outside of the streets, especially as we're just leaving our cold blue season and we're going into the summer seasons, but it's also giving them a safe space to be able to come so that they're off the streets.
So for those that will be remaining overnight, will there be an intake process as well as a code of conduct and enforcement?
Most definitely. There is an intake process. We look for Delaware County residency for those who are occupying the shelter space. We also review with them code of conduct, making sure that they understand what the rules are in order to remain a participant in the shelter system.
Are there any changes to the building proposed aside from sort of reconfiguring furniture and that sort of thing?
There is no changes that we're looking to make.
And you've covered this a little bit, but how does the shelter use fit in or overlap with your current services?
Absolutely. So the shelter system will be like an extension or expansion to the service we currently provide, because we're fighting homelessness and we're providing as many resources and supports to our participants or the population who are homeless to be able to provide them some stability while they're on their journey to try to become stabilized.
And have shelter services been previously provided at this property?
Yes, shelter services have previously been provided. I want to say they ended about 4 years ago, right when I came on board. But there were no one housed at the community. So the shelter would transport individuals from this center to some of the volunteer churches is where they would sleep. And the churches would provide them meals, but they will report to the center where we are. So we're coming for this hearing because we would like to house them where they are. We've actually reached out to some of the churches who previously supported us, but a lot of them have folded for many different reasons, pandemic, and a lot of those other unfortunate or unforeseen situations.
And if you are able to provide the shelter services, you do have government funding that would allow for that, correct?
Yes, we've already received some of the funding to be able to move forward with the program.
And in your opinion, is the proposed use suitable for the property?
Most definitely.
And there's a need for the proposed use,
There is
correct?
definitely a major need for this property, for the proposal, absolutely.
And what types of other uses are in the area?
Some of the uses in this area are shopping areas. We have medical building, we have dental offices, we have Planned Parenthood, but all of these businesses are closed during the operating hours of the shelter. So there would be no barriers.
So if approved, in your opinion, will the shelter have any negative impact on public health, safety, or welfare?
Absolutely not.
Okay, those are all of my questions for my witness.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
A few brief questions before the board has its questions.
Yes.
Will there be any change to the operations offered during the daytime hours beyond the 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. time block? Are you proposing any changes to your daytime operations?
No, actually, we've extended our daytime hours as of now, only because we wanted to accommodate those who are actually on the streets. So we extended our hours just to, again, to give them some place to come. So this is just an addition to what's already needed. So no, to your question.
And do you currently, are you currently open 24 hours or do you close?
No, we're closed. We actually work now from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And how much staff do you anticipate staying during the overnight shift, more or less?
A total of 4. There'll be 1 manager or supervisor and 3 line staff.
All right. And will there be any security?
Yes.
All right. Can you explain that a little bit for the board?
The security that we have, the security is not a physical security guard as of yet or anything that we've actually looked into, but we do have a secure place. We do have locked doors, and individuals have to be let in after buzzing to be, admitted.
Sure. And can you just briefly, if you can, explain, I know you mentioned this is going to be your common room that's going to be, I
Yes.
believe that's the phrase you used, it's going to be the home to this part of your
Yes.
operations. Can you just explain to the board how it's going to look? You know, if they walk into the common room, how's it look during normal daytime hours? And how's that going to change at night and what they would see?
Yeah, sure. Currently, when an individual comes in, we take them into the staff office to complete an intake. After we take them through the intake process, we give them a tour of the building, and then they're welcome to have a meal, have a seat, and whatever's happening at the time of their arrival, whether a group is happening or whatever the case may be. They can socialize, get acclimated to the program. That's what it looks like during the day. We're engaging the participants throughout the entire time they're there. In the evening, it'll look a little differently. We'll have, again, someone come in, complete an intake with them, and at this time, depending on the time they arrive, it'd be time for bed. They'll have a light snack, something before dinner, something before they go to sleep, and then they'll have their time of resting. I'm sorry? They'll have a snack-like meal, yes.
And then time for resting, I believe.
A time for resting, yes,
Thank you very much. So
You're
at this
welcome.
point, I think the board members might have a few questions for you.
sure.
How you doing? Thank you for all the hard work you do and all your
Thank you.
service. If it wasn't for people like you, these places wouldn't exist, and people need this help. So does this place serve mostly the Upper Darby residents or Philly, or does it serve Delco? Who do you prominently serve?
Any Delaware County resident, we have to provide verification of residency in Delaware County. Although we do get individuals that come from all over, particularly Philadelphia, we do permit them at least 10 days to provide or prove Delaware County residency. We support them with getting identification and whatever vital documents they may need.
So this seems like a group living space that you're putting within a space.
Yes.
So we talked about, we touched base on, we'll come back to security, but garbage, solid waste, fire sprinkler, and fire alarm. Did you make any corrections to accommodate the new conditions, living conditions? You'll be accommodating for people staying overnight?
Well, we didn't have to make any adjustments. So the same processes we follow during the day, we can actually follow at night as well, when it comes to disposal, even with our fire evacuation processes.
Can you say that again, please? For disposal, you'll be,
Yes, yes,
so the building, so your staff can handle the load for, even the building can handle the load, the actual loads coming in through the building?
absolutely, yes. And we also have, if you're referring to cleaning as well, we also have a professional cleaning service who comes in 3 times a week. But our staff is also responsible for emptying the trash and making sure the common area is clean, kept clean and sanitized.
Yeah. So we talked about fire sprinkler, fire alarm. So basically, are you going to be tell me about your floor plan for the group room again. So are you going to be stacking each bed or along the walls, or?
Yeah, so it's co-ed. So there's going to be partitions that separate male and female. One portion of the area is a large community area. I'm not quite sure of the square footage. One half of the room will be for one gender, the other half the other. But it's plenty of room. The tables and chairs will be moved out of the way that we utilize for our day program.
So you said there would be low walls, or you said partition, right?
Partitions, yes, sir.
So how high would the partition be?
We haven't configured that, but they will be high enough where no one can see over them to invade the space of the opposite sex.
Can you say that again, please?
I said we haven't determined the height, but we will make sure that the privacy is not invaded of the opposite sex. And then again, we do have staff that'll be on site as well.
So you're going to make sure the partition is least, I'm not holding you to anything. I'm just saying, like, so I can picture it. So if I put a partition straight down the wall, straight down the line right here, 6 feet.
Feet,
So how high is the ceiling
yeah,
in the space? So if it's going in the ground floor, right?
yes,
So usually the standard is height between a story is 14 feet. You're only going to go up 6 feet.
So as I said, I don't know the actual schematics.
Yeah.
I'm not the engineer.
Because if you put a wall, a demising wall, then you'll have to file for a building permit. So then you are making an alteration to the space.
So these would not be permanent walls, correct?
No,
So
they are
they
not.
they would have to be removed during the day.
Correct.
So I think what she is saying that it would be sufficient height so that you cannot see into the separated
Common spaces.
spaces. But again, they would be movable partitions.
Absolutely.
Right, so to be like an accordion wall?
Yes, absolutely.
So you're gonna install a beam in the ceiling and then have it automatic, electric? What's your plan?
The plan is just to have something that's portable, something that we can easily put up and remove between the services.
So something on casters,
Could be, yes.
so then you bring it in, just an accordion, like a folding panel,
You know exactly what you're
And
saying,
then-
yes,
probably if you gotta put 5 of them down the hallway,
yes,
or maybe in a few areas.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Actually, follow up to that.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Do you have any photos of the interior of the existing facilities?
I do not have interior photos.
I did not bring any interior photos.
Okay. The room or the common room that you referred to earlier, what's the current use for that space?
Our day programming,
That's like the group sessions that you're referring to?
yes, sir. Congregating, the meals, the socialization, activities,
Okay, oh,
Yes.
so the meals are done in that room
everything
as
is in
well?
the same area, yes.
And the restrooms, or not, I guess the shower facilities, I'm assuming there's restrooms.
Yes, they're too,
Adjacent
yeah,
to the-
that's another part. It's not within the community area, but they're off of the community area. Our laundry room as well as our showers
Okay.
and then, bathrooms.
And I guess I'm trying to orient myself in terms of like the layout of the facility. So there's one large room and adjacent room, or do you have any sort of like floor plan or something like that that can?
I do not have that with me, no.
And I did try to check the county because a lot of times they'll have a little bit of a floor layout. And for whatever reason, this building did not. And I don't know if because it's a mix of use, but there is a dedicated entrance from, what is the street?
Court Avenue.
Court Avenue. So there's a dedicated entrance into just this space from Court Avenue. So when you walk into this space from Court Avenue, where is this room?
They're
It's
entering into the
immediately
space.
at
It's
the
immediate- at
entrance.
entrance, correct.
Okay.
There's a vestibule, or there's a vestibule, and the second entry door leads them into the common area, off to adjacent the common area, or the staff offices, case managers' offices, laundry room, and as I said, showers as well, and our kitchen area.
So you enter, and I think there's a photo of that dedicated space where the notice was posted, right?
Yes.
So you're saying
Yeah,
that,
I understand it's open floor concept. So you're saying the building's square or a rectangle and everything's just
Yeah.
bridging off like so you're going in. So you have no just to be clear, you have no photos of the existing space, right?
No.
we do
That's
not.
fine. Do you have any, do you have any idea how it's going to look, like a logistics plan?
I do. I can see it in my head, what it's gonna look like, because I'm familiar with the space, yes.
So the bed's going to be temporary, you said cots, right?
Yes, we do have,
Like the foldables.
yes. They're stackables.
Would the area be under surveillance?
Yes, currently, all of our operations are under surveillance. I have cameras that I look, that's how I make sure that my staff is safe and able to identify any challenges or issues. We use Verkada cameras, so we have interior and exterior cameras, surveillance.
For dedicated to this space with no
Yes.
blind spots?
Yes, no blind spots.
So in the event that, someone's having a mental crisis or one of the in-house people are using drugs or smoking or whatever, what's your safety plan for that?
Safety plan for preventing
throwing somebody out?
Oh, we really don't throw anyone out. We have a code of conduct unless something is egregious. And if that is the case, then of course the staff and the manager will have to intervene. And even at that time, we try to provide resources for them, depending on what the issue is. If the police have to be notified or mobile crisis have to be notified. Sure, if the police have to be notified or mobile crisis have to be notified, we would do so. But we actually practice a lot of de-escalation techniques. Our staff is very well trained, trauma informed.
So what's your definition of egregious?
Someone that probably brings drugs on site, a weapon, or someone who's very disruptive or aggressive towards staff or another participant. And I would like to say that we haven't had any of those incidents. I'm not saying that they don't happen, they're just not common. It's because of the culture we have created in this space, the culture of safety, a culture of respect, where the participants who are there, they really admire this and they take ownership of this space as their community.
So do you have any rooms that are anti-ligature? In the event, anti-ligature. So in the event that somebody's having a suicidal issue or crisis and want to harm themselves, do you have a space where it's anti-ligature, where you put them in a padded room or some type of behavioral health room where they can't tie into anything, hang from anything, or any plans for that?
No, we do not have, the plan we have when someone, we get those are common. When we have someone that may have suicidal ideations, and they'll inform us. And they will inform us if we have someone with suicidal ideations, and we'll take them into another room and we'll sit with them, depending on if they have a plan to carry out the harm or not, based upon a high risk assessment that we complete. And if they have a plan, then we would notify mobile crisis immediately, and we sit with the individual until mobile crisis arrive. They're not left alone at all.
So does, since this is going to be turning into a 24-hour facility, one question I had was, what's your time limit? It seems like if you, all the services you provide are great, what's the point of these people leaving?
That's the benefit. The benefit is they really don't have to, especially when we have what we call an integrated model. So if integrated coordination of services. So not only do they receive services from the day program, the shelter, but during the day, we connect them with case management. We connect them with peer mobile services for those who want to have that relationship with someone with lived experience, such as themselves. So it's an entire model that we look at, where we believe that if an individual had plenty of services, not inundating them, but the more resources an individual has, the better the outcome.
Like the outcome to move out and get
Sustainability.
to like, yeah, to like assisted living or affordable housing or et
Yes.
cetera.
Yes, sir. And we also have that on site as well. We have a rapid rehousing program. If we get an individual, be able to place them in a shelter, their probability for them becoming housed is increased, because now they work with one of our case managers who's able to help them and support them get housed.
So would you, for some of these residents that are full-time, do you run any criminal or background checks?
We do not.
So you don't know if any of these people commit a crime against a child?
We do not. It is not required in the contracts that we have with our funders. I do know that there are some programs and some facilities who do, depending on what their location. For instance, one of the shelters we actually partner with, they will let us know if someone have sexual assault charges or maybe registered with Megan's Law, because they can't reside there because they're next to a daycare center, playground of that nature, but we do not.
Yeah, because there's a few daycares right around there right on Market, 69th Street. There's one, I can think of one, and there's another one like walking distance from this place. So, just And then there's also people that live on that street next to the Mexican restaurants and some of the grocery stores right there behind you.
Yes.
So, okay.
Sorry, can we, I just want to clarify for the record, could you state sort of what how the program intends to source, like potential residents?
Sure.
Sort of, not just folks that, because I imagine there'll be folks that utilize your services that won't be residents, and then there'll be folks that utilizes your services
Absolutely.
would also be residents.
Yes.
Could you just explain sort of how you intend to source those residents? 'Cause
Sure.
I know you were talking about funding and things of that
Sure.
nature before.
They're sourced through our outreach team. We have outreach teams that work around the clock. That's okay. I'm sorry.
Might be the mic.
Okay, is this better? Is that better? We have outreach teams, street outreach teams, outreach workers who work around the clock, and their sole mission is to encounter or engage individuals they may see on the street. And if they don't want to be placed, or at least get them off the street, and that's what the mission is. So our outreach teams, as well as disseminating the information to all of our community providers to let them know that we're here and we have this service we're providing as well. Because we get numerous calls from a lot of our partners asking what are the services and do we know of any shelters, especially when there was the government shutdown and all of the shelters in Delaware County closed. Our participants had nowhere to go. And in 69th Street, the police kicked them all out of the police station. So now we're in the middle of a code blue and they literally had nowhere to go.
And that's partly why I'm asking, because presumably if these services become available, I don't think you'll have trouble finding folks to fill
Yes.
those beds.
Yes.
And so I guess I'm not clear on how you make that discernment, right? Is it just like essentially anyone who walks to the door? And I'm thinking about this because we were talking about like, well, how do you screen if necessary, that kind. So is there any sort of policy being put in place, or is it just kind of whoever walks through the door?
So this is how I'm hearing the question. If there is a screening process of eligibility, if that's what you're asking. And again, it's first come, first served because the capacity is only 30. So if we hit the capacity, so we'll make phone calls with our other partners, see if there's some place. That's what our outreach team does. And they'll find other places or shelters that they can, transport the individuals to.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I did have I wanted to get back to the quantity of folks that you, because I believe you just said 30 to 40 folks was sort of your intention in terms of the average amount of folks that would be residing there
30.
overnight.
The capacity is 30. We have about 40 who attend our day programs. But as far as the shelter is concerned, only 30, because we have to include our staff as well, but that's the max.
Okay, and so that capacity is
set.
Based on what? Is that occupancy capacity or the programming capacity requirements? Like, what is that based off of?
That's occupancy capacity. So our capacity is 50. So we have 30 participants. That's all we're looking at. And then the 4 staff, 34.
Okay, thank you.
Do you also have individuals that are trained in multi-languages?
We do not, but we are looking to hire. We are always looking to hire bilingual individuals. And with this field, it is so difficult to find, competent staff. And I don't mean that in a derogatory term, but competency based upon the skills that are needed for the job. So we're always looking in this competitive field for individuals who are able to speak multiple languages, at least, English and Spanish.
I just got one more question about suitability and maintenance. So you say you don't take families, correct? Why is that?
Yes, that's not what the contract with our funders is not what our.
Sure, I'll repeat it for you. Suitability. I have a question about suitability. One is for maintenance and one is for usage. And why do you do not take families?
Yeah.
Families, yeah, no problem.
When there are NOFAs, notice of notifications of funding, we actually go for the grants and that are available. So once we get notification of a particular grant, we write a proposal based upon the requirements of this grant. So we wanted to have a funding stream for supporting or servicing individuals. And there are other services or other programs that service families, but based upon the funders, we're only serving the adults. It wasn't anything that was particularly why we say we just want to service adults and not families, but just based upon the funder requirements and the grants that are provided.
So just two more questions, because
That's
it's
all
kind of
right.
serious, because you're gonna have 30 people living, like literally living right here. Coming and going from the property,
I'm sorry?
for residents there for the in-house, they're coming and going from the property. So are you gonna give them an access card, or how are you gonna go about doing that?
They're only permitted, they have to ring a bell. So they're permitted in only by staff. And staff is on the floor all the time. So therefore, when they're leaving, staff is there when they're leaving as well.
So
they
are they
come
gonna
in to
be,
sign in.
so if they have to smoke, where do they go?
We have a smoke deck that's adjacent. It's off of the community room. It's a locked smoke deck.
Okay. And then trash, all that in front of the building, are you gonna,
That's on the side. We have a dumpster area on the side, which is kept very neat and clean,
okay,
emptied very regularly.
okay.
Do you provide food for these individuals?
I'm sorry?
Do you provide food for these individuals?
Yes, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The meals that are provided through our community partners. The churches who used to house them when it was previous shelter, they're the ones who continue to provide home cooked meals to these individuals. So I'm sorry?
Sorry, finish your statement.
Yeah, I'm going to say that. So all of our meals are donated. They're donated from restaurants to churches, big box stores, the markets. We're always getting donations, clothing, toiletries.
Where is the cooking taking place?
We don't cook on site because we don't have a full kitchen. So we do have appliances such as toaster ovens, microwaves to heat up the food. So the meals are cooked off site by the donors.
But when,
Go ahead.
if and when you start providing sheltering services like throughout the night, what's the intent in terms of food then? Is it to continue to rely on outside donors, or what's the plan there?
Well, we do have funding to purchase meals, and some of the meals that we don't have to cook, microwavable meals, sandwiches, those type things. So light dinners, but they have a full lunch and a full breakfast. We even have a church who every single Saturday, for instance, they provide large meals such as home fries and some meats. So that's just how in-depth it is. But during the evening, the shelter, it'll be something very light. It can be a sandwich, it can be a snack bag, or something just before, they go to sleep. And then in the morning, they able to stay, they can have breakfast.
Do you request the individuals attending to get their inoculation shots and
Yes.
things like that?
Yes, we do.
The prescription drugs for behavioral health, or who administers that or monitors that?
We do not. So if someone may be on medication that is not our oversight, we do not oversee that. We do have a program that is on site. For instance, our case management, we have a doctor that's on site for our participants who receive case management. And if they're part of that particular program, then she supports with that. But as far as the shelter and that staff, we do not administer medication. We don't have oversight of that at all.
One of the things that I've seen over time is that people are reluctant to go to shelters because of the fact that their goods could be stolen. How do you protect the individuals from having his things or her things removed?
We're not responsible for their belongings. That's a part of our code of conduct. They're to have their belongings with them at all times. We only permit one small bag at a time. They're not to bring, for safety reasons, strollers, large bags, multiple bags. So a small overnight bag is what they're permitted to bring. And again, they're responsible for it. Even if they go out on a smoke deck, or if they leave to go to the store, just like during the day, they have to take their belongings with them.
Would the applicant be willing to share I don't know if it's finalized or if it's still proposed, but the code of conduct?
Oh,
that you're
absolutely.
Referring to with the board?
Yes, sir.
Will the applicant be willing to do criminal background checks to make sure that no one's committed a felony or misdemeanor against a child in the facility?
I will have to,
If I may just cover that point, I'm imagining that that would be difficult because this is not in any way meant to be some sort of a long-term residence. I think the intent is that, and again, they have most of the services during the day, and it would just be a continuation into the evening for people who need a place to stay overnight. I don't think the intent is that they want to house these individuals or the same individuals for a long period of time. I imagine that it could happen, but also when you have an individual that's just walking in for one night, I don't know how, as a practical matter, you would be doing background checks.
Well,
And
You
it's
would-
also not something that's done during the day with the services that they're providing. It is not.
well, what's your definition of a long period of time?
again, as Ms. Jamie just stated, it is overnight, a long period of time. We don't have a tenure on that. But again, once an individual come in, we will connect them with resources such as case management, other programs. The goal is to get them housed. So again, they're not going to be residing there for 30, 60, 90 days because it's a first come, first served basis anyway. So if someone comes in tonight, we're not going to hold their bed for the next night. First come, first serve.
So how long does it take somebody to get through your program or the programs? Because relying on government services, obviously we all dealt with the government through either inspections, permits, or et cetera, and that it's not easy. It takes time,
Yeah.
months, years maybe.
Yeah.
So if these individuals are going through your multi-level process to get to the next place where they got to go, and they're working your programs and they stay there for 2 years, that's a long period of time.
Okay, so again, this is not a residence. So as a particular or normal shelter is, where they come in and they are allowed to stay up to 2 years while they go through the process. This is an overnight shelter. Maybe that would need to be differentiated. It's an overnight shelter.
Do you have a panic system of communication for the police department? A panic notice
Like a panic button,
system?
alarm
Panic
system.
button.
If we need emergency, no, we actually call them.
I'm sorry?
No, we do not have a panic button. We just call them if we need those services.
Are there any other questions from the board?
I think I'm good. I think we touched everything from security, maintenance, and et cetera.
right.
And
So
they answered everything
at
correctly.
this point then, is there any public comment related to this application? Yes, ma'am, please come forward to the lectern.
Can I sit down?
Hi, Lee Jordan. Lee, L-E-E Jordan, Jordan. Just some questions. It seems like more details have to be known about the program before you vote on this. What exactly is entailed, since people will be staying overnight, up to 30 people. And I don't know if there's an ordinance in the township of saying how much space there has to be, because basically it's 30 people in a room. Doesn't sound like you know exactly what that's going to look like. That actually will change the dynamic of a neighborhood. You basically are going to have 30 people staying now overnight in the neighborhood. And you really don't know the details of the program, which I think that you really should know before you vote on something like this. I think it will be a strain on their public services. I mean, it's different during the day, but you're talking 24/7 now. So, I mean, I just have concerns. I think there's a lot of details that aren't known about the program before you vote on allowing residents to stay overnight.
Thank you very much. Is there any further public comment related to this application? Okay. Seeing none, Ms. June, does that close the applicant's presentation, subject to the admission of the evidence.
I would just like to make one comment that sort of addresses that public comment that we just received. There was a little bit of a question as to capacity and what the building can accommodate. I mean, obviously, this is just the first step, getting the zoning approval. If there, we would need to also get further approval if there are any permits that are necessary, et cetera, for occupancy of that space. And obviously, we would abide by whatever limitations or regulations there are in terms of the building code and that sort of thing. So I think that concern would be addressed that way. And again, I do want to mention that they have provided this type of service in the past. This is a great need. They have the resources for it. They have the building. It's just an extension of that service. So we hope that the board considers approval of that application.
Thank you very much. So at this point, I believe we'll close the record, and I believe the board will take a moment to discuss the application in executive session. All right, so we'll be right back. All right, please let the record reflect that the board has returned from a brief executive session to discuss the application. At this point, if the applicant's attorney could come up real quick. Thank you. At this point, the board doesn't feel like we have enough information to decide the application this evening. And in an ideal world, what we would ask is for the applicant to agree to a continuance and a waiver of the MPC timelines to allow a hearing on April 28th if the applicant's available. And in the meantime, if the applicant could provide some additional information. And what we're looking for more or less is perhaps photographs of the space. If the applicant already has some of the cots, maybe set some of those up so the board can envision what this would look like. Even a layout, maybe like a hand-drawn layout, doesn't have to be anything crazy, just so we can get an idea of how this is going to work in the space. The board would really like to take a look at the code of conduct that was referenced, and also if the applicant has any sort of standards or procedures with respect to this particular use, because we know this is a little different, so we can get an idea of how it would operate specifically from soup to nuts when someone walks in asking for a bed to the time when that part of the operation closes in the morning. So at the end of the day, if the applicant would be agreeable to that continuance and that waiver and would say so on the record, then we would love to have you back here in April to finish up the hearing if that works.
Would be agreeable to the extension. We grant a waiver of whatever applicable timelines there are. I can also provide it to you in writing. And I really do appreciate the board sort of considering this and giving us the chance to come back. I think we've heard the board's concerns tonight, and we will try to address those issues when we come back next month.
All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming out. See you next month. All right. Just to button things up, does with respect to the continuance, does the board make a motion to grant a continuance until the April 28th agenda?
Aye. Yes.
All right. So
I'd like to second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we will see application 1-1 of 26 back April 28th. All right, moving on. The next item on the agenda is number 2-2 of 26 for Despina Pompukido. Sorry if I mispronounced that. 22 2nd Street in Lansdowne. I'm going to mark a few exhibits here for the record. Specifically, we've got ZHB1 is going to be the application package, ZHB2 is going to be the proof of posting, and ZHB3 will be the proof of publication. I see, sir, you're at the microphone there. Do me a favor, can you introduce yourself and be sworn in by our court reporter?
Yes, my name is John Rossiter. I am the managing partner. TER. Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Rossiter, was
Yes.
it? All right, real quick. You mentioned you're the managing partner.
Yes.
Managing partner of what, per se?
Virginia Inc., the Properties LLC.
So let me ask this, because I just want to, before you can proceed, I need to make sure that you have the standing, which means the
yeah.
ability to request
Been in
the
front of you
relief.
guys numerous times for our properties.
Well, this has the owner as Despina
Yes,
Pompukido.
yes. Pompukido.
And not, what's your company's
John
name?
Rossiter,
What's your company's name?
Virginia Inc.,
Virginia Inc. All right, how is Virginia Inc. related to this property?
Virginia Inc., sir. INC. 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 What was that, sir? I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. So how's Virginia Inc. related to this property and this particular applicant?
That's our company that me, Despina, and Constantino started with the rental properties and everything.
Okay, so Despina is another member of the corporation?
Yes, that's my partner's wife. Constantino Deliopoulos, Deliopoulos. Yes, sir.
So here's the unfortunate issue. So if the property is owned technically by Despina, I'm just going to say Despina rather than butcher the last name again. Technically speaking, we would need Despina here or a written authorization allowing you or the corporation to be here on her behalf.
We are all owners of the property. She's just the one who filled out the paperwork and whatnot.
So the property is owned by Virginia Inc.?
Yes.
Well, then we have another issue, which is unfortunately, that's a corporation and you need to be represented by an attorney here today.
I never had this problem before. I've been in front of you guys 20 times for the same thing, and this is the first time I'm hearing of this, and it's never, ever been an issue, honestly. Never. You can look it up and see. I've been here numerous times with it. It was a different attorney at the time, but never had this problem before. I mean,
you know, unfortunately, that is our rule. I don't know how it was previously interpreted as part of our application package. So at this point, unfortunately, I don't believe we have the standing to proceed forward.
I own the property. How don't I have the standing? I'm one of the owners of the property. We own 9 of the 11 houses on the street. I'm on every single one.
Sir, again, it's a legal issue where if you have a deed, obviously I'll be happy to take a look at that. I'm not sure if it was submitted with the application.
So what do you need from me to be able to move forward?
So either, depending, if the property is owned by Virginia Inc., then you would need counsel to represent you,
Okay.
the business. Or if it's owned by Despina personally, then a signed authorization that would allow you to appear on her behalf or the business to appear on her behalf.
Okay, can we continue it then until next month?
100% we can.
I can get you whatever you need. That's no problem at all.
That's not a problem at all. I'm sorry to make you come back. It's, you know, unfortunately, it's a legal prerequisite for us to
I
move
get it.
forward.
It's no problem. I totally get it.
So what we would ask is if you're okay with a continuance, are you available on April 28th?
Sure.
Okay. So if you're willing to waive the, well, I guess. Yeah, so if you're requesting a continuance to April 28th and you're willing to waive the timelines within the called municipalities planning code to allow us to have that hearing on the 28th, then the board can vote to grant a continuance to April 28th, and we'll see you back here on the 28th.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
All right, so upon hearing all of that, would the board like to make a motion to grant the continuance to the April 28th hearing?
I'd like to grant the continuance.
All right, we have a second?
Yes, aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Oster, hope you have a good night.
Thank you.
We'll
Have a
see you
good one,
next
guys.
month.
Bring your deed with you, sir. Just
Or you can send it ahead of time, you know?
All right, so if I just bring the deed and whatnot, is that good?
no. In addition to everything he said, just bring the deed as well,
Okay.
or send it in.
And if you have any questions, you can, here, let me see if I have a card here. If you have any questions, you give me a call, okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, moving on to application, the third on the agenda, which is number 3-2 of 26 for Best Choice Support Services at 610 to 614 East Baltimore Avenue. Good evening, Mr. McCreesh.
Hey, Mr. McGuigan, members of the board.
Oh, hey.
John McCreesh IV, attorney ID 68944, represent Best Choice. Let me
Okay, give me 1 second, John. Couple things.
Sure.
First, is there any member of the public who would like to request party status related to this application? All right, seeing none, I'm going to mark a few exhibits. ZHB1 will be the application package. ZHB2 will be the proof of posting, and ZHB3 will be the proof of publication. Thank you for that, Mr. McCreesh. The floor is yours.
Okay, yes, Best Choice, represent Best Choice Support Services. They're a nonprofit. Mr. Isaac Bamatico is here with me, and I'll have him spell his last name for the court reporter.
My last name is Bamiteko, B as boy, A as apple, M as Mary, I as interest, T as Tom, E as Edward, K as Kevin, O as orange. B as boy, A as apple, M as Mary, I as international, T as Tom, E as Edward, K as Kevin, O as orange. You are welcome. Yeah.
Good to say it.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Bamatico and his corporation, Best Choice, is they are want to use the space. Presently, it's 610 to 614 East Baltimore Avenue. Used to be an old warehouse. He bought it along with the church. He's a member of the Christ Power, what was it?
Resource Center.
Christ Power Resource Center's the owner. They use it for religious purposes, church purposes. They have 48 parking spots right behind the church on site off the street. We need two zoning variances. One, because now we're going to have a second use on this building. The portion of the property, 610 East Baltimore Pike, they want to use for these adult training services, which are governed under Section 2380 of the Pennsylvania Code. There's a lot of requirements there. Yes, they'll have to go to the Department of Human Services, ODP, which is
Office of Developmental Services.
Office of
Developmental
Development Programs, which, yes, they'll have to get licensed through them and everything. They can have a maximum of 25 people, and this is for training people with autism or other disabilities, blind people. What else, Isaac?
People that have a physical disability, neurological disability.
Any kind of physical or neurological disabilities, to train them for work or different things to better their lives in the community. The 2380 section, they need to have, first he has to get your approval, and then he has to get licensed for them. But just to give you an idea, there's strict requirements. There has to be a program manager that they'll hire that has to be a PhD in this field. They have to have at least one training person for every 6 people, and it can even be 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 depending on what that person's disability is. For their space, they would have a maximum of 25 people. And also, we think the parking requirement will not be any problem, because I talked to Josh and he said it's really would fall under office, which under your parking regulations would be 1 per 300 square feet. The space they're using is about 3,100 square feet, so they need about 11 off-street parking. The church is only operating mostly on Sunday, so that parking lot is pretty much unused during their hours of the training, which would be 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, approximately 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. There'd be no cooking or anything on site. People would bring their own lunches, or pack their own lunches or something like that. They would not be supplying any food. He did do a basic sketch of a floor plan, and we do have some pictures of the inside now. You can see it's just basically one big room. There's a couple bathrooms, but it's just one big room. Other than, they're not going to partition it or anything like that. Okay, and I could hand those up.
Yeah, please do. Thank you very much for providing photos of the existing conditions.
We sent some others to Josh, but I tried to email them, and for some reason before the pictures didn't come through.
No worries. All right.
Yeah.
So,
in color.
all right, so let me just,
See if you want to see more detail, but.
all right, so we've got a diagram, which will mark as applicant's exhibit A1. Then you have 3 black and white photographs, which will mark collectively as applicant's exhibit A2. Just give me a moment so I can distribute that to the board and they can take a look.
Is this the church space?
Yeah, that's the
All right.
space.
So this is south to north?
That is where we are going to use.
Yes, I understand.
But is that showing from the front of the building to the back?
Yes,
or-
it's
yeah.
showing where you see that it's red.
Yeah, so
So the
basically south to north.
Yes, you see Baltimore Avenue side.
And this is the space for the
It's the
application,
same-
right?
Yeah,
And you got the double doors right here?
yeah, we have double door, yeah.
Okay.
That the double door to the foyer, double door from the foyer to Baltimore Avenue.
All right, so there's just one space that you got here.
Yeah,
And then you got the hallway, the breezeway.
in the hallway, we have two doors at the hallway.
Yep.
And from
This is
inside
there.
to the odd way, we have two doors.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
He kept some other pictures, but I didn't think they were maybe,
Yeah, we have pictures of the bathroom.
Yep, bring them up. Let's see them.
okay,
Okay.
but I didn't want to give you too much, but if you want.
Nope, just bring as many as you want.
Okay,
Because this is a place for people with disabilities. So it looks like what I see is what I get. So based on your 4 layout plan, you got a narrow hallway. So we've got to make sure that people with disabilities can actually get to this back room from the parking lot
The parking lots,
and then get through these spaces. And also if the bathrooms comply too.
yeah, but we have standard bathroom for the church.
no.
We have 2 bathrooms,
Yep, I understand.
yeah.
We're going to take a look at these.
I think some of these are good.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, so just for the record here, to try to make sure we're all on the same page. So Mr. McCreesh passed up 2, 1, 2, 3, six photographs. And it looks like the first 3, and we'll mark these we'll mark the 3 photographs of the bathroom as applicant's exhibit A3, and these are rather self-explanatory. There are 3 other photographs that we'll mark as exhibit applicant's A4. And I'm just going to hold these up, and I'm just going to ask you to do me a favor and explain what each photograph is. So this photograph here that I'm showing up here looks like a small room with a table in it. What is this room exactly?
It does like want to use it for office.
An office, okay.
Yeah.
Now, the next photograph, it looks like it might be a hallway. Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah, that one is the hallway.
Hallway, okay. And the third photograph, I think this might be a duplicate of the main room.
The duplicate of the other.
Okay, sounds good. So we have applicant's exhibit A3, bathroom photos, and A4, which I just discussed. And just give the board a few moments here just to take a look if you can.
Okay.
Okay.
Like Senator Josh, these are the color, I don't know. Yeah.
The place is a lot better condition than I thought, so I'm really, yeah.
You're free to
Yeah.
look at my phone.
Thank you.
They come out a little bit better in color.
Yeah.
I wanted Josh to pull them up, but, I had a little technical difficulties.
No, it happens.
Not being able to, you can
Okay.
share with the other members.
Oh, here you go.
And for the record, these are the same photos, just in
They're the
color.
same photos, just color.
Not a problem.
There you go, boss. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. So, please, so I just have a couple questions.
Okay.
So they'll be entering, they, meaning the students, will be getting dropped off if needed on the Baltimore Avenue entrance, right? Going through the double doors, through the hallway into your space for school.
Is either from the Baltimore Avenue
Yeah,
or from the parking lot.
Probably the parking lot, which is around the,
Yes.
around the corner, and then it's a short walk. You know, it's right behind 614. So what street is that? It's on the corner of?
It's a Fourth Street.
4th Street. So the parking lot is behind the building on 4th Street, so they would just have to walk 50 feet or whatever
Yes,
to the.
Like we walk into the church, then they will walk also into this place from the parking lot.
I think that there's meter spots in front of the place too, right?
Yes, there's a handicap for and all those, everything is there.
There's a handicap
Yeah.
spot in front?
Yes, handicap front. Officer, please everything.
please tell us about, please, I think we understand the intent of the space. What specific training will you be providing in the space?
Yeah, we want to be providing training for like development, training how to be able to adapt with the society, training on how, like a communication skill, how to be able to get themselves organized.
Get themselves organized.
Yeah, like what I have here is daily living skill, like housekeeping and cleaning routine, because they are the same. They are laundry skill, meal prep, food safety, and kitchen organization.
Kitchen organization.
Yeah, we also have like pre-vocational and job readiness training. Just to, yes, pre-vocational and job readiness training. Just to be able to prepare them for competitive employment. Competitive employment.
Employment. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then how about that? Then like the career exploration, workplace behavior and expectations. Then how to function academically. Like like functional readiness, sign, labor, and schedule.
What were you?
Well, this is where I am now. Functional activity.
Functional academics,
Yeah.
including functional reading, functional math, problem solving, communication skills.
Then we have a creative, sensory, and therapeutic activity. Just like music therapy. Music therapy.
Music.
Yeah.
Music therapy.
Yeah, sensory integration activities. Then how to movement and relaxation in the community. Then we also train them about health and wellness, self-care training.
Self-care training.
Yeah, such as exercise and stressing routine, like nutritional education, stress management and coping skill, self-advocacy and self-determination. Yeah, like a self-advocacy.
Self-
Self-advocacy
Yeah,
and
and
self-determination.
self-determination. Then we teach them for community integration. Yeah, just like community outing, like using public transportation, like a social etiquette and communication, like group participation and teamwork. Then we will teach them a digital skill training, like basic computer navigation. Yeah, basic computer navigation, the internet safety, then using tablet and smartphone. Yeah, and many others.
Thank you very much for sharing that. And so, who are you?
Yeah.
Why are you? Yeah, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Isaac, as you have known. I'm this president and CEO of this new organization. So I'm standing here on behalf of the company.
And what else do you do, Isaac? You're a member of the church, or you run the church?
I run the church.
Okay.
I'm the pastor of the church. See, each time we want to do anything, I come over here. Getting this. So I'll be here. This is my fourth time here in doing the hearing. Anything, want to do anything about the hearing, come over here.
But he originally bought the place about 15 years ago, and it was an old abandoned like warehouse, and it's been a long project, and they've done different things to improve it and piece by piece because it was basically run down, and but they couldn't do it all at one time. So every time he's added something for the church or this or that, he's come back for whatever approvals he needs. So I guess that's what he's saying. He's reached out to this program and the Office of Development and Programs. They say on their website it's run by the Department of Human Services, and
So the best choice is a tenant.
Best Choice is a tenant. They have permission from the church, but it's kind of a affiliated group. He's
Yes.
a member of the church. He's also branching out to this Best Choice, will be a different umbrella, I guess, that under the same type of services. They're trying to do community services, one through the church. This will be something different for people with autism or other disabilities. And like I said, he is not, there'll be, once, hopefully, if he gets your blessing, they'll have to go to Department of Human Services, and I have the whole chapter here. It's under 2380. Like I said, they need to have what's called a program specialist that'll be in charge of the program, and that person will have a PhD. There's all kind of rules in the 2380 about safety and fire, and everything will be inspected by Department of Human Services for them to get the approval through them. So this is just step one. But,
So a couple quick questions here. So I guess, is it fair to say that you're kind of early in the process here and you haven't identified a program specialist yet who will presumably be kind of in charge of the program? Is that a fair way to say it?
Yeah, but
that's fair, because until he gets this, then he can't really hire someone,
we
right?
can't really hire something. But we have myself and my wife, who is a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. That we are starting it now. So already it's going to be like a trainer there.
His wife's here too. Do you want her to answer some questions? I can call her.
If you think that,
Yes,
should
yeah,
come-
yeah.
sure.
Why don't you come up? She might be better suited to ask some of the specific questions about the program. Here, step aside and state.
Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Before you go, state your name and spell your last name for the court reporter.
My name is Olufumilayo Bamiteko. I'm going to spell it.
Spell it.
O as in orange, L as in lamp, U as in union, F as in Frank, U as in union, N as in Nancy, M as in Mary, I as in indigo, L as in lamp, A as in apple, Y as in ya, O as in orange, then Bamiteko, B as in boy, A as in apple, M as in Mary, I as in indigo, T as in Tom, E as in Edward, K as in kite, O as in orange. I'm a psychiatric and mental health nurse practitioner.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, I do. A psychiatric mental health nurse nurse practitioner. So I'll basically be on site in case of any crisis. So I'll be able to monitor what's going on. So if we need to escalate, then I'll recommend escalation and we can get the necessary people to help. So the backup is always there for that. Yeah, in case we have crisis, because with disability people, they do have their periods of crisis. Some people may have increased anxiety, increased issues. So in case of such nature, then I'll be able to call the necessary crisis center, or maybe to call 911 and take the person for higher assessment.
So I have a quick question here about how the program is going to function.
Okay.
So I think we understood, and Mr. Bamiteko did a very good job explaining the purpose of what you're trying to do. My question is more about, the logistics. If you're trying to provide training for a variety of disabilities, individuals with disabilities, different types of disabilities, how does that training work? Is it going to be in large group instruction? Is it going to be more one-to-one depending on the disability at issue? Just what?
Everybody have their individual plan. So it's going to be according to each plan. So if somebody needs more independence, that person will be a one-to-one. So if it's somebody that is more, that can do things on their own, so maybe it's going to be a 1-to-3. So the ratio differs. So we'll have people that maybe they need more direction. They'll be like a 1-to-1 with the direct support staff. And if some people that can do more for themselves, so they will be like a ratio of 1-to-3.
At this point, do you have an anticipated number of staff that you believe you will be hiring for this, or any number of staff you think are
For
going to be?
now, we think we'll need 7, because if we have 25, so maybe 1-to-3, we're not going to have 25 at once. So it's going to be gradual. So as the need arises, then we employ more. But right now, we think we'll need direct support staff 7.
Do you have any idea? You just mentioned that you don't expect there to be 25 individuals there receiving training or some sort of therapy at any given time. Do you have an idea of how many you do expect to be at the property at any given time?
It depends on, because we'll be getting most of the patients from the ODP. They're going to send us referrals. So as we are getting the referrals from them, and if the referrals, yeah. So as we're getting the referrals, then we bring the patients on board. So it's like a process, and there's something they call the SCOs. So, and each individual have their plans. So we have to like get the plan ready and everything. So it depends on the timing and how it goes. So I can't give like a specific time because everybody has to be on board. The family members of the individuals, they have to be on board, and we have to agree on this. What is the need of this person? So maybe they need to be more independent in this area. So there has to be that treatment plan that is written, then we'll know that, okay, this is what we need. So as we are doing that, we'll be getting people on board.
So to ask it a different way, do you see, let's say down the road, when you get all of your approvals and when you're operating for how long, do you see a time where you will have 25 different individuals receiving training at the property at any given time? Or do you think the maximum that'll be there at any time will likely be less than 25?
Most likely less, yeah, because I'm not sure the 25, we're going to have it like one time, but
All right, so maybe 25, probably less, but at this point it's early, so you don't know.
yes, yes.
Sorry, what is there is that
The max is 25.
they won't give us 25 to start with. They will never
The
give us
max is 25.
max.
Yeah,
The facility is 25.
it's 25,
They
so,
just go gradually, along with our resources, the capacity of the place. You understand now? And then before we can accept that one, we need to train the direct
support staff.
We need to do all the clearances, the police report, the fingerprint.
He's talking about the training.
Yeah.
Yeah, the training of the direct support staff. So there are a lot of clearances that has to be done.
And I believe, based on one of your last answers, when you mentioned that you're going to be getting referrals from ODP, is it fair to say that this training program will be open to members of your congregation, but also non-members as well? You'll treat
Yes,
any
members and non-members to the community.
Okay. I just wanted to ask some questions to kind of clarify some
Yeah.
questions I had. But at this point, the board might have some additional questions.
So I have some questions regarding the physical, like the site itself, and then some like programming questions. So I'll start with the building. Actually, could I see this the site plan that they gave? Thank you. So it looks from the site plan, I think the earlier testimony regarding the parking lot, council was referring to access to the rear. This is the rear parking lot that you guys are testifying about. And it looks like the access to that parking lot is through 5th Street, right? That the parking lot opens up onto 5th Street. That does.
The parking lot is part of it along the 5th Street,
Mm-hmm.
and part of it
At
most
the
of it
back,
at the
then you
back of
can
the
enter the building.
Right, but to access it, you have to go down 5th Street to turn into the parking lot, correct?
Yeah.
To the left.
Right.
Turn to the left, then come out. Left.
So I just want to confirm some things in just in terms of that access. So the 5th Street road, there's no sidewalks on that road, correct?
There's no sign.
Sidewalk,
We just-
sidewalk,
No signboard there.
sidewalk.
Sidewalk.
Okay, sidewalk, yes. So there's no sidewalk on 5th Street. Is there a handicap accessible way to access the building from the rear parking lot without having
Yes.
to walk to the front?
It was approved by this office.
Yeah.
There's a
What was
handicap-
approved by this office?
There's a handicap, yeah, there's an handicap ramp.
The parking lot was designed by experts, and we brought the plan here, and they approved it. We built the plan, we built the parking lot. Every sign was there.
And that's to access the space that we're talking about for the support services, not the church?
It's for the church, but it's going to be used by the support services.
Okay.
Everything we have for the church there, except the new worship area, the bathroom, the parking lot, some of the offices I gave you there are going to be used by the best choice support service.
So well, okay, let's put a pin in that for a second. I want to stay with the parking lot. The business that's behind your building, I guess that warehouse, what is that use? Like, what is that behind your?
It belongs to, there's this building there that belongs to the
Recycling.
Accurate Recycling.
It's the recycling,
Yeah, so our parking lot is in between that, structure you are looking at, that look like warehouse
right,
and our building. So that's why we have the parking lot. And we share boundary with, animal, what we could do, this guy.
There's an abattoir, the
oh,
next.
okay.
Yeah.
And is that,
The guy needs,
The court reporter didn't get that.
Sharing the boundary with an abattoir, then there's Accurate Recycling on the other side.
Yeah, the other side.
so do you know the operational hours of the well, actually, before I ask that, no, I'll ask that. Do you know the operational hours of that recycling facility? Do you know like the hours of operation?
You mean the recycling?
Right, the recycling facility that's behind your parking lot,
Yeah, they
that
normally
shares.
close there at 7 o'clock.
Are trucks coming in and out all day, or what? Are you aware?
They normally, they open there at 7 o'clock
Okay,
and they close 3:30.
okay.
But they don't park in our area. They don't touch our parking lot. We have our parking lot is fenced and we have key.
Okay. So the interior of the building, I think you alluded to this when I was asking about the access to a handicap access from the parking lot itself to avoid
Yeah, we have
having this walk up and down Fifth Street.
double doors
Okay.
to enter the building.
So I think your testimony was that I guess those double doors allow you to enter into the church side of the building, right? And then you would have to traverse the church side to get to.
No, the moment you park, the double doors, you open the double door, then you go like this and enter this space that we are going to use. You just go around now like a hallway. You go right, go around.
To the
go
right.
through, then you enter the place, and it's big enough for anyone with a handicap something. Everything is
Okay.
is
Your typical worship service that falls on what day?
yeah. Well, it's Sunday.
Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay. Does the church have programs any other day besides the worship service?
We have midweek service on Wednesday, 7 to 8:30
PM.
p.m.
7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m.
Yes, that and
On Wednesday?
There used to be very few on Wednesday. Like,
And okay, so sorry, go ahead.
I say few people. We don't even use the parking lot during the week because we used to be very few.
It's a much smaller service Wednesday
Yes,
night.
smaller service.
But that's the only other program that
Yeah.
happens
Then
in the
Saturday-
building
then
besides the
Saturday-
worship service?
Saturday they have choir rehearsal. That is from 8 a.m.
Choir rehearsals,
8 a.m. to 12 noon. That's 2 hours. So we don't do any other thing.
10 to 12.
Okay. And so part of the reason I'm asking this line of questioning, because looking at your site plan, it looks like the facilities that you want to use for the training service offerings, they essentially the offices and the bathroom spaces that you're referring to are the ones that are existing in the church side of the building, right? So they would essentially be sharing facilities, the church and the
Yeah, we
the program?
Yeah, we use what church has for the program.
Okay. But they are separate entities, right?
Correct.
They are separate entities.
Well, it's going to be rented.
Okay. And, okay, so regarding the program itself, am I correct that most of your, I guess, participants in the program will likely be folks with intellectual disabilities, not necessarily physical disabilities? Okay. When council was asking about the sort of, the anticipated amount of people at any given time, the numbers that you were testifying to, does that account for like their personal like providers and things of that nature? Because many times people with intellectual disabilities have their own, they might have their own care provider that needs to be with them. Do those ratios or numbers that you're talking about factor that in, or these are just the individuals themselves?
I think it factors in, like the max people that is allowed there is 25. Yeah,
But those are the folks that are receiving the services, correct?
Even the services.
Like the people that would be the 25 number that you're referencing, that's people that are getting the services from you.
Yeah, people
Right.
that are getting the services.
Right.
And I believe people that are getting the services and even the staff too.
But he's saying like, if the person brings a family member with them, would that happen? I think that's what you're getting at. Is that-
I don't know if it has to be a family member, but a provider, home health care,
Family member or
whatever.
guardian or someone that would come with them.
The program does not.
yeah,
allow,
it doesn't
someone-
allow a caregiver.
It doesn't allow
No,
someone-
because the essence of the program is for you to be independent, to teach you to be independent. So if you
Okay.
need a caregiver, then that's not the right program for you.
Okay, so they wouldn't, folks that fall into the sort of that category wouldn't even qualify for this kind
Yeah,
of
they are
program,
not
is
going
what
to
you're saying.
qualify.
Okay.
And then also, we don't know their background.
I'm sorry?
We don't know,
their
yeah,
background.
we've not done any background check on them, so, and stuff like that, so we can't.
The services, so you listed a very long list of potential trainings and services, and they kind of it was a wide spectrum from computer training to, I guess, self-help training to other mental health trainings to physical sort of vocational trainings. That seems to be
Like vast.
unfocused. So I guess I want to get some clarity on what is your actual intention? Like, what kind of training are you setting out to do? I think you were listing the possible trainings, but what are you setting out to do in terms of the type of training?
The
What is your
setup
focus?
is going to be things, teaching them to be independent, like how to teach them how to get employed, how to use to perform daily tasks, like how we'll talk about their grooming, how they can do it without anybody's help. Then in the community, how they can fit in, like computers and stuff like that. So that's like the general thing, but we are going to focus more on their day-to-day lifestyle, how they can be independent, taking care of themselves, their nutrition, exercise, and community. Sometimes we'll go out in the community, maybe they can go for shopping and stuff like that, how they can do their calculation. They will have aides with them, the direct support staff. So, and money, how they can utilize their money to buy this and stuff like, so it's basically how to be independent in their day-to-day lives.
Then in addition, each individual has the treatment plan. So all that will be done for individual is contained inside the treatment plan.
Who comes up with that, the treatment plan?
Individual
It's called ISP.
ISP.
Yeah, it's in ODP agrees. Yeah, individual service plan, I don't know.
The individual service plan.
You don't know what it stands for?
The S, I forgot what the S is, that's what I mean. Individual service plan.
Every individual has ISP.
They have their service plan. And it's in conjunction with the Office of Developmental Program. So, and like every 3 months, we review the ISP. So if they've achieved this goal, so we move on to the next goal. And if we see that there is something else that they need to improve on, we'll put it in the ISP.
All right, thank you.
Does the board have any further questions of the applicant or their counsel?
Just one more question. So you're relying on a variance so Best Choice can provide services in your space, correct?
Yes.
And what you said here today is what Best Choice Support Services does, correct?
Yes.
And Miss, do you work for Best Choice or?
I'm working for Best Choice.
And what,
I'm going to be more like a contract staff. I'm going to be there, but not 24/7.
and what will you be doing, sir?
Mr. Brown,
What do I do?
yeah,
It's
what-
going to
what-
be
what
the
is your
administrator.
position
My
at the,
position is I'm the CEO of the place. Yeah. I'm president of the.
And it's going to oversee the day-to-day with the administrator, going to oversee the day-to-day running of the place.
Yeah, the code provides they have to have a, I think I said in the beginning, they have to have a program specialist, and that person is in charge of up to 30 individuals, and they coordinate everything, and that person has to have a master's degree or a bachelor's degree and 2 years work experience, and or an associate's degree and 4 years work experience with people with disabilities. So that program specialist, which they'll hire, is the person in charge with ODP. And that person has all the qualifications to run the program. He'll be like overseeing it, so to speak.
And the church is mutually exclusive?
Yes. And, I mean, I know there was questions with the other people, I mean, like I said, there's all kinds of requirements. There's criminal history checks on all the staff members, fire safety. They have to go through all kinds of training to get into the program, and the state makes sure that they're in compliance before they get their state license.
But counsel, what about, so I understand the licensing and the permitting that would be required. I think we understand that. But what about the operational sort of realities of running a program like this? Like, do you guys already have the equipment that's necessary for all these types of training? Like, putting the staff aside for a second, because right now it's just a room right now, right? It's just a room with chairs, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to match with what you're envisioning right now.
The
So I'm trying
equipment that will
to bridge
need
that gap.
computers. We're going to need computers because they need computers. So those are the things that we need. They need things like for the training, for the skills.
Right.
So yeah, skills like, how will I put it? Some, maybe nutrition and like demonstrate. So all the things that are needed, they are not very strenuous things that once we get that, we'll be able to get everything. So like I said, the computers, the exercise, because they'll be doing exercise. The exercise, like basic exercise, ropes, because they're not going to be doing strenuous exercises like ropes, being in a line and stuff like that. The loop, so it's just simple exercises. So the things that are needed, they are not, we can get them like within a month.
Does the board have any further questions of the applicant? Is there any public comment related to the instant application? Seeing none. Mr. McCreesh, does that conclude your client's presentation? Is there anything else you'd like to add before the board retires to
No,
deliberate?
that includes everything, and thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. So at this point, the board will retire to executive session to deliberate. We will be right back. Okay, please let the record reflect that the board has returned from an executive session and discussed legal issues related to the application. And I think at this point, a motion is in order.
Make a motion to deny the application.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion or comments on the motion?
Yes, I'll make a comment. Oh, she's still here. So I just want to state for the record that the use itself, I guess I can only speak for myself, but I think the proposed use, I should say, I think is a great and wonderful use that would be a benefit to this community. I do not think that you guys are close in terms of where you need to be to move forward with a zoning approval and really any other approval that's required after the fact. What I would like to see is for you to take the time to go back with your team, build out a team, even if you don't have folks that you would hire. Typically with these service forward proposed uses, applicants usually come before us with, specialists or professionals who may be, whether they're partners or may be anticipated to be involved with the program, whether they're hired already or not, that can speak to, their qualifications or their intent or involvement in the program. That's just an example of something that typically happens with service forward providers, particularly with vulnerable communities, like folks with, intellectual disabilities. And so my hope is that you and your wife and whoever else is on your team can go back and sort of develop this past, because right now it's essentially an idea, and come up with an actual plan, maybe a business plan, maybe a service plan, maybe investigate, potential employees or staff who might come and speak on the behalf of their intent to work or support your program. I think the board would like to see more from the applicant to sort of be indicative of how ready they would be to run a program like this.
And their demonstrated experience in that area.
Okay. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you very much. I think we understand, and
course.
hopefully they'll come back with some more
Yep.
info in a
And-
couple months.
And Mr.
Thank you.
McCreesh, as you're aware, you'll get a written decision from my office in 45 days.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So at this point, we will move to our final application of the evening, number 3-3 of 26 for the applicant GSI Secan LLC, 50 South Oak Ave and 5210 West Baltimore Avenue. Do a little bit of housekeeping here. We've got a few exhibits to mark. ZHB1 will be the application package. ZHB2 will be the proof of posting. And ZHB3 will be the proof of publication. And I'm guessing we're going to get some applicant exhibits here. I think I know the answer to this question. Is there anyone in attendance who would like to request party status related to the application? Seeing none.
Thank you.
For the record, the applicant has passed up a pre-marked exhibit binder with exhibits A1 through A11. These will be admitted into evidence subject to any testimony that the applicant wishes to present.
Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Gina Gerber. I'm here on behalf of the applicant this evening, which is GSI Secan LLC. We're here this evening with respect to some variance relief regarding some signage for property for a self-storage unit at 50 South Oak Avenue. The signage is proposed to be located both on 50 South Oak Avenue as well as a secondary property adjacent to that along Baltimore Pike. It's 5210 West Baltimore Avenue. Both of these properties are part of the application, and we'll proceed with presenting some testimony this evening as well as some exhibits to prove our case. So I am joined here this evening by a representative of GSI Secan LLC, as well as a professional sign consultant for this particular application to testify as to what's being proposed for the property. So if it's okay with the board, I was going to have both witnesses signed, or I'm sorry, sworn in at the beginning, and then we'll get underway quickly. Thank you. Very good. Yes, we'll take it slowly. No worries. So we are asking for relief this evening for 4 variances with respect to the signage. 2 of the variances with respect to 3 off-site signs, which are going to be advertising the self-storage facility use to be located at 5210 West Baltimore Avenue. We're asking for a variance from section 550-37H4 in order to allow a 24-foot illuminated billboard sign to be located approximately 10 feet from the street right-of-way of West Baltimore Pike, where the ordinance would otherwise require a 35-foot setback for a billboard sign. We are also asking for a variance from section 550-37H2 in order to allow 3 signs, off-site signs, which have been classified as a billboard under your ordinance, to be located closer than 500 feet of one another. And then the remainder of the variances are with respect to a proposed wall sign on the building at 50 South Oak Avenue. So we're asking for a variance from section 550-37G1, B as in boy, 3, to allow a single wall sign on the proposed self-storage building that's approximately 23.5 square feet, where 16 square feet is the maximum sign area permitted in a residential zoning district. And we're also asking for a variance from section 550-37G1D as in dog in order to permit the internal illumination of that wall sign that is going to be located on the building at 50 South Oak Avenue. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce my first witness. Mr. McClary,
Yes.
would you please state your full name and spell it for the court reporter?
Scott McClary is MCCLARY.
And your business address?
It's 2414 Toddville Road. See, Toddville. Yeah, I think it's Toddville. Seabrook, Texas, 77586, sorry. Yes. Seabrook, Texas.
And Mr. McClary, who is your employer and what is your position with that employer?
I work for RBP Development. Let's see, I'll stand this up a little bit. RBP Development, and I am their development project manager.
What is the connection between your employer, RBP Developer LLC, and the applicant entity, GSIC Kane LLC?
We're both owned by the same parent company, and GSIC Kane LLC was created to own the property.
And are you authorized to appear here and testify on behalf of the applicant this evening?
Yes.
We've attached as Exhibit A4 a property deed for 550 South Oak Avenue. Does this evidence that GSIC Kane is the owner of 50 South Oak Avenue, which is one of the properties that are subject to the application?
Yes.
And Exhibit A5, is that a copy of the deed evidencing that BT Baltimore Avenue Properties LLC is the owner of the other property that's the subject of the application?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. Have you obtained a letter of authorization, which we've marked as Exhibit A6, from BT Baltimore Properties, indicating that you are authorized to appear and testify in this application to seek the variances with regard to the signage on 5210 Baltimore Pike?
Yes, we have.
Thank you. I'm going to refer your attention to Exhibit A7, which is a property aerial. You'll see it up on the screen as well. Would you please identify the property for the board and the surrounding uses?
Yes. Do I talk loud enough? Do I have to?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Great.
So it's an L-shaped property. It's kind of a flag shape with the larger flag piece being where the red pin is on the picture there. And then the flag part includes or encompasses all the trees that you see around that open area there. We're surrounded by a mix of residential and commercial use. We have condominiums and apartments, which are accessible from South Oak Avenue. And then there's the Wawa and the Planet Fitness, which we're bordered by on the top side of the property. Also, there's other commercial properties along the frontage there, Baltimore Pike, which are, there's a Whitney's, and there's a Petco, and there's Home Depot just a little bit further down from us. So there's a lot of very commercial development.
The second, I'm sorry to interrupt.
And
The second parcel that's part of the application, is that plan north on this Exhibit A7 where you see the parking area between the Planet Fitness and the existing Wawa along West Baltimore Pike?
yes, that would be the shared access. So, yeah, we would, using that access to the property, it's going to minimize any disruption to the residential properties along South Oak Avenue.
Very good. And as you can see on this plan, 50 South Oak is currently vacant at this time. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Very good. Is 50 South Oak located within a residential zoning district, namely the RC1 Special Residential Conservation District of the Township?
Yes.
And the adjacent property that's the subject of the application, 5210 West Baltimore Pike, is that property located in the C2 Traditional General Commercial District of the Township?
Yes.
Very good. I'm going to refer your attention to what we've marked as Exhibit A10, which is a record plan provided by your project engineer, KCI Technologies, last revised May 23rd, 2025. Would you, referring to this Exhibit A10, would you please advise as to how the property is being developed?
Yes, we're going to be building the, let's see, is there, so yeah, we're going to be building the self-storage facility on the flag portion of the property. And here's the access easement out to Baltimore Pike.
Very good. And has the Township Council granted land development approval for this project that you see on the screen here by way of a resolution 17-25, which has been marked as Exhibit A8?
Yes.
Okay. And has this board previously granted relief for this particular project, including a use variance to allow the use on the property as well as some dimensional variance relating to the development?
Yes.
Very good. You had indicated this previously, but with this Exhibit A10 in front of us, will this property and the self-storage facility take access primarily from West Baltimore Pike by way of an easement agreement that is in place between GSI Kane and the owner of 5210 Baltimore Pike?
Yes.
Very good. And I'm going to turn your attention to what we've marked as Exhibit A9, which is a street view from Baltimore Pike. Does this depict the existing access driveway that is going to provide access to the property at 50 South Oak Avenue?
Yes, it does.
And this is the turn in from West Baltimore Pike into that access driveway that will ultimately connect to 50 South Oak Avenue. Is that accurate?
Yes.
The purposes of tonight's hearing is to review requests for variance relief. Is that necessary to provide commercial signage for this proposed self-storage facility?
Yes.
And is it your understanding that most of the zoning relief that you are seeking here this evening is due to this unique access arrangement from 5210 Baltimore Avenue, as well as the fact that the property upon which the self-storage building will ultimately exist happens to be within a residential district?
Yes.
Thank you. That is all the direct questions I have for Mr. McClary this evening.
Could you repeat the last one that you just did?
Yes, so my question was to Mr. McClary whether the variances that we're seeking here this evening are due to the fact that there is a very unique access to this property being taken from 5210 Baltimore Pike, as well as the fact that the property upon which the building for the self-storage facility will ultimately be located is within a residential district. So there's limited signage that is permitted in a residential district.
So at this point, Ms. Gerber, I think it might make sense, unless there's an objection from the board, maybe to present your signage expert as well, and then perhaps the board can just ask whatever questions we have at the close of your direct testimony in total.
Makes sense to me.
Okay.
Thank you. Would you please state your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Nick Kapatos, Kappatos.
And Nick, what is your professional position?
I'm the owner of Sign Pros.
And are you familiar with the property that's the subject of tonight's hearing, as well as the Upper Darby zoning ordinance?
I am.
Were you retained as a professional sign consultant in this particular project to speak to the variance relief, as well as to actually implement and construct the signage that's being proposed?
I have been.
Thank you. I'm going to refer to Exhibit A10 again, which is that record plan prepared by KCI Technologies. This is the site plan that shows the applicant's proposed building improvements. Has this been edited with the purpose of identifying the location of the signage that's proposed off-site of 50 South Oak?
It has.
Thank you. Referring to this record plan, can you identify the location of the off-site signage for the board?
Sure. In red, you'll notice a monument sign on Baltimore Pike. I call it a monument sign because it is only 4 feet high. It is outside the site triangle, so it doesn't pose any problems with the traffic. The second sign is a small directional sign that basically identifies the entrance. And then the third sign is a no semi-truck sign because as required by, I believe, the approval, semi-trucks cannot access this property. So that is another sign that is considered an off-site sign. There are also a wall sign, but
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
So the signs that are identified as billboard signs, is that because they are located on a different property from the use that is being advertised by those signs?
Yes, the ordinance addresses signs that are on a property, but because there's this shared access, there's this easement, the signs would be located on another property owner's property. Then that's why the zoning officer has deemed them a billboard, even though the only reason it's a billboard is because they are not on the property that the storage facility is being built on.
Was a rendering prepared which depicts these 3 off-site signs?
Yes,
And is that rendered signage plan been marked as Exhibit A11?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yes.
There we go. And we see it up on the screen now. You have it in front of in your packets as well. So referring to that rendered signage plan, Exhibit A11, can you please describe the 3 off-site signs that are being proposed?
Yes, at the bottom of the picture there is the public storage monument sign. That is a double-sided illuminated sign. As you can see by the silhouette of the man standing next to it, he's approximately 6 foot tall. These signs are only, I believe, 4'6". Yes, 4'6" off the ground. They're 24 square feet. And then that's going to be the main sign on Baltimore Pike. As you're driving down, you'll see that sign. That'll identify the driveway entrance. As you pull in, the second sign will be the directional sign. That's also very small. And then the third sign is not on there, but that's the semi-truck sign. That is your typical no parking type of sign, an 080 aluminum sign. Just like you would say no parking, it says no semi-trucks.
So effectively, all 3 of these signs are going to be relatively small in size, and it looks like relatively short as well.
Yes.
Okay. What is the zoning district in which 5210 West Baltimore Avenue is located?
That is the C district.
Okay. Is it your understanding that billboard signs are permitted in the C2 district up to 20 feet tall and 300 square feet in area?
Yes.
But those billboard signs under the zoning ordinance do have to be 35 feet from the right-of-way of a road. Is that correct?
35-foot setback, yes.
Thank you. Is the applicant requesting a dimensional variance from this requirement, this 35-foot setback, in order to locate that sign A, the monument sign that you've identified, which is set back 10 feet from the right-of-way?
We are, yes.
Okay. So although these signs are technically defined as billboard signs under the zoning ordinance, is it fair to say that these signs are not really consistent with what you would typically see for a billboard sign?
No, as defined by your ordinance, a billboard sign would be 200 square feet. It would be 20 feet off the ground. So we are much smaller than your typical billboard sign. The only reason it's being defined as a billboard sign is because it is an off-site sign, not by the size, the height, or any of those restrictions.
And I think you mentioned this already, but I just wanted to clarify as depicted on the record plan. The proposed signs, all three of them, are outside of that red site triangle that's depicted for the intersection of this access driveway as well, or the access driveway and Baltimore Avenue. Is that correct?
Yes, the signs do not impede the site triangle for the vehicle traffic.
So in your professional opinion, does the small size of that monument sign at approximately 24 square feet and 4.5-foot height negate or severely undermine the necessity of the 35-foot setback from the right-of-way that's set forth for a billboard in the zoning ordinance?
Does it negate the necessity? Yeah, yes, because it's so small. It's it's a small sign. There's no reason to be so far back from the road.
So is that provision, that 35-foot setback, is that typically a provision that's put in place for billboards in order to make sure that a large billboard wouldn't obstruct visibility of vehicles traversing the roadway?
Yes,
Is it also there typically in order to prevent the risk of damage to traversing vehicles and people on the roadway if that billboard sign were to collapse or fall?
possibly, yes.
So are any of those risks present with the proposed sign A monument sign?
Not at all, not at all.
The applicant is also seeking a variance with respect to these off-site signs with regard to their proximity being closer than 500 feet from one another. Is that your understanding?
Yes,
We're going to flip back quickly to that Exhibit A10, the record plan. Would you please identify on that record plan where on the property those three billboard signs are?
so once again, the monument sign is 10 feet from the property line on Baltimore Pike. That's the top red. If we zoom in a little bit, sign A, monument sign. Once again, if this was a C2 district, if it was being treated as a C2, we would not even be asking for any variances because we would be complying with everything with what is there. But because it's a residential, we're asking for this because it's off-site. So once again, sign A is the monument, sign B is the small directional, and then the no trucking, no semi-truck sign is also a very small sign that's there. All of them are off-site.
So would you categorize the no semi-truck sign as well as that sign B entrance sign effectively as dimensional signs for which no zoning relief would be needed or permits?
Yes.
Okay. So outside of the fact that these signs happen to be categorized as billboards because they're off-site, is there any professional reason or any reason in your industry why these signs would need to be set back 500 feet from one another?
There's been no reason. These are typical site signs that you would have in any parking lot, directing people where to go, and an identifying sign at the entrance of the parking lot.
Do these three signs present any risk that is intended to be mitigated by this 500-foot setback requirement?
No.
Okay. Is there any justification for the 500-foot billboard sign separation requirement in this particular scenario? And is the dimensional relief that we're requesting reasonable in light of the circumstances presented?
The relief is reasonable, absolutely.
Okay. So in addition to these three off-site billboard signs, is the applicant here also asking relief with request to a building wall sign on 50 South Oak Avenue?
Yes,
Will that sign be approximately 23.5 square feet?
it is.
And it is just the lettering of that sign internally illuminated?
Yes. The background is an orange background, but it's a metal background. And the white portion is the only part that lights up. They're individual letters, very similar to Wawa, individual letters. They light up. Your ordinance currently defines the square footage of a sign by only putting a square around the area that illuminates, and that's the letters public storage. The square is larger, but it doesn't illuminate, and the ordinance only takes us into consideration to measure the letters. So that's why the size is what it is.
Okay, so that's where we come to 23.5 square feet.
Yes.
Very good. And we're looking at Exhibit A11 now. Can you please identify the building wall sign of which you're speaking?
It's in the middle, showing on the facade that is facing Baltimore Pike.
Very good. So is the applicant requesting a dimensional variance with respect to this building wall sign as to the size of this particular sign being 23.5 square feet, where the ordinance permits up to 16 square feet of
Yes.
maximum sign area.
Yes, because it's in an R1 zone again.
Very good. And is this dimensional relief needed in order to allow for a commercially reasonable sign to be located on the property to identify the actual use of the building?
Yes,
Okay. Is the applicant also requesting a variance with respect to this illuminated wall sign to allow it to be an internally illuminated sign with respect to the letters within a residential zoning district?
yes.
Is the applicant mitigating the circumstances with regard to this wall sign due to where it's placed on the building? Can you speak about that a little bit?
Yes, the location is because of the way the entrance comes in. The sign is close to where the door is. People coming in that driveway are going to see this sign. It is the right location for the sign. The size is also proportional. As you can see, it fits very well to the right of the entrance. Once again, there's no need to have signage facing any of the residential zones. This is only facing the road.
Okay. So this sign is on the western facade of the property, and that is the side of the building that will be facing the Wawa and West Baltimore Pike. Is that
Correct.
correct? Are there any other signs for which zoning relief is required that would face any of the surrounding residential properties or uses?
No,
Exhibit A11 does identify a few directional signs without commercial messaging above the entrance of the rental office and the loading dock, the glass on the building, as well as some window signs and signs identifying the location of certain areas of the building, such as the loading zones. Is any zoning relief needed to permit these signs on the building or around the property?
no, none is needed.
Very good. Are you familiar with the standards for variance set forth in municipalities planning code as well as section 550?
I am, both New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
Awesome. So in your opinion, are there unique conditions on this or features on this property that are creating an undue hardship to comply?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Can you talk a little bit about the unique shape and configuration of the property and the challenges presented with respect to providing signage?
The shared access, the property is behind the Wawa. The idea that you would go in Oak wouldn't make any sense because that's residential. So this is a hardship. Basically, because of the shape of this lot, there's no way to have the ordinance comply with the ordinance. We cannot comply because it doesn't, there's no frontage on Baltimore Pike.
And because of the circumstances and configuration that you've identified in this property, can the signage be provided in strict conformity with the ordinance, and is the variance necessary in order to enable reasonable use of this property?
The variance is needed. We cannot conform to what is required, so we must ask for the relief.
If signage were provided on site and not off site, would that be adequate to safely bring vehicles to the property?
No, it would not.
Okay. Did the applicant create these unique property characteristics and conditions?
Not at all.
And in your opinion, is the applicant's variance request the minimum relief needed in order to allow for reasonable signage for this commercial use?
Yes.
In your opinion, would granting this variance have any adverse impact on the character of the community, the general health, safety, and welfare, or the use and development of any neighboring properties?
Not at all.
So has the applicant taken pains, as well as the sign plan, taken pains to make sure that the signage that is proposed is going to be the least impactful to any neighboring residential properties?
He has.
Okay. And as you've indicated earlier, this signage is necessary in order to reasonably and safely direct vehicles to this use. Is that correct?
Yes, without the signage, there would be no way to identify for the traffic on Baltimore Pike to know where the entrance would be and how to get to the property.
Good. The ordinance does set forth some general standards for a variance in section 550-54J1. Have you had the opportunity to review these standards?
Some, yes.
In your professional opinion, would you say that these particular standards are applicable to the relief that the applicant's asking for this evening?
No, we couldn't use them.
And generally to the extent that the board believes they're applicable, have you reviewed them, and is the application compliant with the standards of 54J1?
Yes.
Thank you.
Trick question, tricky.
I have no further questions for this particular witness.
No, thank you very much. So I just have a few brief questions before the board takes over. I just want to make sure I understand The signage that you're requesting relief for tonight, is it a fair statement to say that all the signage that you're asking for relief for faces either West Baltimore Pike or alternatively does not face any residences?
Correct.
Okay. Now, in your time as owning Sign Pros, is it a fair statement to say that you've either worked with other self-storage facilities or with other locations for this public storage business?
Yes, and my experience, I did Verona Pizza in your community. That's one of my signs. Few others in this neighborhood. I've been in front of this board, I believe, back in 2016. So
Sure. Well, my question is specifically with regard to, I know you were testifying regarding I'm going to say your testimony regarding the somewhat small size of these signs. I was curious, in comparison to other self-storage facilities that you might have designed signage for, how these proposed signs would compare in terms of size and scope.
So normally, if this sign was in your C2 district, we would follow the ordinance of the C2 district, which would allow for a sign of much greater size based on the size of the property. But the uniqueness and the size, so your question is, each property, we would follow the ordinance that would be applicable for that. So in certain communities, they would be 17 foot high, they would be 12 feet high, there would be a variation of all those different sizes. But in this particular application, because of the uniqueness of the property where it's located, the size of the sign, we're using this size sign only because we feel it's good enough to identify this property. Because the Wawa sign is so high, and then this sign is lower, we feel that it'll be, visually acceptable to people to identify that entrance as the entrance to get to the storage facility.
And my last question before I transition things over, in terms of time, with respect to the two internally illuminated signs, the wall sign and the freestanding sign, what's the approximate hours in which you expect the sign to be actually illuminated?
So typically, we would follow whatever ordinance or standards that the municipality has. Otherwise, I would defer that question because it can be controlled in any way. Would we normally have it on?
Yeah, it does to dawn. We have a.
Who are you?
Astronomical timer that we put on it. Dusk to dawn.
Dusk to dawn would be normal unless there was an ordinance or a request to make it something different. Once again, it's next to the Wawa sign, which I believe is a 24-hour establishment. So normally dusk to dawn would be appropriate for that location, even though I don't believe the storage facility is open 24 hours, is it?
No.
No.
Yeah, no, that's all the questions I have. Thank you. So at this point, if the board has any questions, I believe now would be the time.
I had some questions regarding sign A, the sign A monument sign, the one
Okay.
that's, yeah, that one. So I understand, generally speaking, if a sign is smaller, that generally correlates for less of an impact on, driver visibility and things of that nature. For this particular access point, I'm not as sure, and so I have a line of questioning that hopefully you can help me sort of understand the reasoning for the plan. So generally on this side of Baltimore Pike, almost, if not all, most of the signs that are that close to the sort of the right of way are raised up. So whether it's a billboard or not, that's not sort of what I'm focusing on. I'm just meaning like the physical design of the sign. Typically they're raised. And I think this particular entrance, and maybe, one of you knows this more intimately, is at a unique slope in terms of like turning into that parking lot. Is that a fair statement? Are you guys familiar with
You're saying the elevation compared to the road?
the actual slope of the driveway to turn into it there? Do you know what I'm talking about? How it's basically turns into a steep hill to go down?
You're saying the sign should be higher?
No,
Well, I'm wondering why it isn't.
No, the sign's on the slope side, so, I mean, if you have the picture, so.
So I don't think,
Show them what the sign is.
Would you want a higher sign?
yeah, I think they're familiar with the site. But, so my question, I guess,
This is,
What you want to do?
yeah, this is sufficient.
it seems to me that what you're proposing is actually would be more of a impediment to driver visibility turning in and out of that sign, that access point, than if it was raised like basically every other sign on that side of the street. So could you tell me why you guys elected to do this as opposed to sort of,
So just to clarify again, when we showed you the site triangle, we use engineering standards to make sure that it's not impeding anybody's vision. You are correct, a higher sign doesn't impede it, but by the location of the sign, it's inherently not in anybody's way when they go to pull out or pull in. They're not going to get blocked by that sign. So regardless if it was sitting on the ground or 8 feet in the air, that's not in a way, it's not going to block because of its location set back 10 feet off the property line.
okay.
As for
So why
saying
did
why
you
is the sign
decide-
low,
Why did you decide this? So I guess your testimony is it doesn't impede driver visibility, and I'm assuming you would agree that if it was raised, it wouldn't impede driver visibility.
Correct.
Right? So why this versus what's on, basically modeling what's there with every other sign?
help me with that, because it can be whatever, so we've done both, we've done everything.
We have an agreement with BET for the access easement, and early on, we agreed that we would put a monument sign in and not the billboards, not a sign like Wawa has, where it's 20 feet in the air. So we previously agreed that, yeah, you can see their signs high up in the air. You know,
Right.
Our plan is to have a shorter one, which is, I guess,
Yeah.
it's,
I could speak to that a little bit. There was an easement agreement that was submitted with the application. I do have copies this evening if y'all want to study it. But the long and short of it is the easement agreement was what was negotiated between the property owner of 5210 West Baltimore Avenue and my client. At the time in which that was negotiated, it was agreed upon the parties that the type of sign that was going to be proposed was going to be what was agreeable to everybody at that time, which was a ground monument sign. So in keeping with the spirit of what was previously agreed to in that easement agreement, the sign package that you're seeing this evening is consistent
Okay,
with that.
fair enough. So contractually obligated.
Contractually obligated is
Yes.
a lovely
Okay.
sum.
My second question is still about that access point. So, and if this is no longer the case, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that that access point had a limitation on trucks in terms of turning into that point.
That's correct.
It seems like that would be a problem with your business.
Well,
So how do,
no semi-truck sign, and that's why that's there. So there is a small sign, it's a 1.5 square foot sign that is proposed. You'll see it on the, I think it's on Exhibit A10. Yep.
there it is.
So there is a sign. It was no semi-trucks that are permitted to access our site from the easement agreement.
right, but you can't see that sign from Baltimore Pike, right?
Right, so again, this is something that I believe BET was looking to have put at the access driveway to our site. So the agreement was that there wouldn't be semi-trucks allowed onto our property. I don't believe the restriction was on having semi-trucks in or out of the access driveway necessarily. So I didn't think it was our place to limit that if it wasn't something that wasn't restricted in the first place. So we're doing our part by making sure that we're limiting semi-trucks onto our property from the access easement.
but I believe Wawa allows trucks onto theirs, so that's why they're only not going onto the public storage property, no semis.
I know it's a strange
Right,
nuance,
okay, so
but
maybe I'm confused. So I'm not asking about the Wawa access point. I'm referring to the, I guess the easement, I guess we'll call it the easement
yeah,
access.
which is adjacent
point.
to, yes. So it's
So I
my,
understand, sorry.
go ahead, no, go ahead.
So I understand that so once you access that, I guess, parking lot easement area, that the sign B entrance sign is the one that says the no semi trucks, correct?
No.
No.
Sign B is a directional.
Oh, I'm sorry. I see.
Directional on the no semis right next to it.
Right next to it. Okay. All right. Apologies. But from the right of way, isn't there a restriction on types of trucks that can just access that parking lot?
I wasn't aware of a general restriction on the use of that access drive in the parking area there as to semi-trucks. My understanding under that easement agreement is that my client is not authorized to allow semi-trucks onto its property through use of that easement access.
How were, okay, trucks over 30, was that 30 feet?
Yeah.
How was semi-truck defined, I guess, in your easement agreement? Is it?
I think it was it a 3-axle vehicle? Over,
No, it was 2 axles. In our agreement, we defined it as box truck. U-Haul, like a U-Haul style box truck, 2 axle, 26,000 pound
Okay.
truck
is permitted.
is permitted. So that's the max.
And are those generally over or under 30 feet? It looks like the limitation is on the length of the truck. It looks like no truck over 30 feet can turn into that.
Are you suggesting we should change the sign to no truck
No,
over
no,
30
no, I'm
feet?
not. What I'm stating is there's currently
There's currently a sign.
a sign at the right of way that for the entrance that turns into that access easement that restricts trucks
Yeah,
over 30 feet.
I don't think the U-Haul box trucks are over 30 feet. They're probably a little bit shorter.
24.
22.
But you understand the practical concern there, right?
Yes.
Like if a truck turns into that and then they see your sign, which is accurate, and say, oh, we actually can't access there. Now it's basically a loop around, right? That creates possible, circulation issues if a truck is trying to turn around. I don't know if people actually, I don't know what that parking lot is used for, but if the people actually park there one way or another, but. Oh, I see. And that's like overflow parking or something? Okay. And so maybe it's not a concern for your business operations, but that seemed to sort of conflict with the proposed use, right? If there's a sign that limits types of trucks, maybe that length covers you. Maybe it's a non-issue.
So we added
But-
this sign because it's not on the property. It wasn't, these are typically site signs.
The right-of-way sign.
The right of way, no semi-truck sign. Yeah.
No.
No,
Oh.
he's,
Existing.
Oh, the other sign, their sign, not our sign. Okay.
I don't think it's a private sign. I think it's a DOT sign that's limiting. It might be worth looking into.
Well, that kind of helps us, so,
Yeah.
we won't have semi-trucks shouldn't be going past that point.
I wasn't aware that there was actually a limitation sign at that existing access drive now, to be honest with you. So that is good news, I think, for the overall intention here. I think that the intention is to make sure that large trucks are not coming on the property. I think that when we say no semi-trucks, I think what we're talking about is making sure that vehicles coming on this property are compliant with the easement agreement and the restrictions associated with that, which is why that additional sign was added. It was to make sure that we can continue to comply with the easement agreement that's in place.
And just so the board's aware, pursuant to the easement agreement that was included with the application, the restriction is on vehicles that exceed 2 axles or 26,000 pounds in weight.
Yeah.
Just so everyone's aware.
I have one minor thing.
Yeah.
In your packet of information, you have a packet labeled 10. There isn't anything behind it.
You must have gotten one of the faulty ones. Hold on.
He also has the same thing.
Same problem. No, it's okay. Sorry about that, gentlemen. Let me double check. This is what happens when you let the attorney put together the exhibit packets. Got 10.
It happens.
These should be good for you. Sorry about that.
Do we have to speak in the microphone? Is it recorded also? Okay, so you gotta come up. You don't wanna come sit next to me? Okay,
I think they can hear me.
they can hear you?
Yeah.
Does the board have any further questions of the applicant or its witnesses? Is there any public comment related to this application? All right, seeing none. Does the applicant have anything else that you'd like to offer before the board closes the record?
There was one quick question that I did not ask that I think might be helpful. Nick, Are you familiar with the signage in this particular area along West Baltimore Pike?
Yes, somewhat.
So is the signage that's proposed, is it fairly consistent with the size and the height and the various signage that is shown along that area of the corridor?
It's similar.
Similar?
Similar.
And
There's
it's
higher and lower.
And particularly in terms of size and illumination?
It's consistent.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Are there any additional questions based on council's follow-up? All right, so at this point, I believe the board will close the record and take a moment to discuss the application in executive session. So we'll go off the record and we'll be right back. Please let the record reflect the board has returned from a brief executive session to discuss legal questions related to the application. At this point, I believe a motion is in order.
I'll make a motion to approve the application.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, congratulations. Your relief is approved. You'll get a formal written decision from my office in the next 45 days. Thank you very much for waiting. I hope you have a good night.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor of that motion?
I'll second that first. I'll
right.
second. And aye.
All right, perfect.